And we are back with our guest, Andy Russo. Andy, you started your musical career at a very early age and actually performed as a soloist with the Syracuse Symphony when you were only 13 years old. How has your early musical training influenced your life?
Well, I think that where it has helped me is from an early age I was able to develop a work ethic, a commitment to something. In this case it was a craft, performing concerts on the piano, which in order to prepare for them takes a lot of time, sitting in a room by yourself, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, a lot of patience. And so I think that that craft helped me develop a lot of qualities that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to develop at that age.
You know, I started my piano at age 4. I used to throw my brother off the piano bench and just kind of repeat whatever he would do. So I kind of relate to that. It's kind of something that you either have it or you don't, right?
I think so. I mean, I really believe that the talent that I have for music is God-given, and it was my duty to develop it. That's really the attitude I've always pursued my music with.
Right. But you were able to work in sports and other recreational things in your life?
Had a very normal childhood. My father was a professional baseball player, so sports was always a great passion. As a teenager, I played Little League and played recreational basketball, played hockey on the pond with my friends, so had a very active and kind of traditional American childhood. I just happened to have this passion for music as well.
Well, let me ask you, you're now in your early 30s and you've already performed as a solo pianist all over the world. You're Grammy nominated, and you're the head of the music department at Lemoyne College. Now that you've decided to run for the state senate, how do you find the time and the energy to accomplish all this?
Well, and on top of it, I have 2 young children. I have a 6-month-old daughter and an almost 4-year-old son with my wife, Natalia. It really just comes down to not sleeping much. Get up early, stay up late, a lot of hard work, but that's the schedule I've always kept. I think I know certainly my wife appreciates now that I'm putting a lot of focus on work that has a direct relation to our family and something she takes a direct interest in. Obviously, music was my passion, didn't really have a direct impact on my family other than ability to earn a living. And the political work and the community work is something that she has great interest in. She was a history major. It's something that we can discuss and participate in together. And should I have the opportunity to serve in office, I can do things that will have a direct impact on our community, impact our children, our friends, and neighbors. And so we look forward to that.
Well, I know my parents were a great influence on my musical life, and they encouraged me every step of the way from a very early age. But I think music passed over a generation with my 2 kids. They took lessons, but they didn't really do it. I'm hoping that my grandchild and my future grandchild that's coming in 4 weeks will have that passion. Have you seen it yet in your children?
My son definitely has some dance moves. He tends to like music that has very strong percussion in it. So maybe there's a drummer in there. That wouldn't be a problem for me. I'm not going to push him towards the piano. If he wants to explore that, obviously I'd be more than happy to explore that with him. So I more want to kind of take a back seat and see what seems to be his natural talents and encourage those.
Well, let me ask you this. You've known that we've known about your musical efforts for many years as a musician, but how are you integrating your current music fan base with your political campaign?
Well, it's kind of interesting because being a Republican and being a conservative Republican running for office from a background in education and the arts, there isn't really a natural relationship between a lot of the people that, let's say, might be following my musical work and people that might be following my work now in the world of ideas and policy. I think that education and the arts are traditionally looked at as fields that are populated by people that come from quite a different ideology than I do. But what's been interesting is learning about how many people there are that I've built relationships with as musicians that have taken an interest, and even if they might not necessarily fall in line with all the beliefs that I'm putting out there, are quite independent-minded and looking for just a new person, a new type of person to come into office instead of your traditional political candidate.
Well, we've enjoyed talking with you for the past half hour, and we want to wish you great success. We hope the primary season goes well for you, and then, of course, in the general election, and of course, you'll be looking at the Utica stations to help you with your campaign. We'd be happy to do that. But thanks so much for being our guest today.
My pleasure. It was great to be with you.
And it's good seeing you. And that's our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed spending a half hour with Andy Russo. And for Ali Schmutter and myself, we'll see you again next month.